Hi everyone, welcome back. Let us analyze the counting semaphore algorithm. Guys, why I am calling this as counting semaphore means here I am going to use a variable which can count how many number of wake up calls can made, or which can define how many processes can be in blocked state, or I can say how many number of processes can able to enter into critical section. That is the reason which I am going to call it as counting semaphore, right? If I say for example let's say the value of the semaphore is 3, which means I can directly say that how many processes can enter into the critical section. For example, if I say P0, P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 are the processes which are in the ready queue. Now try to analyze the code so that you can get the idea what is the meaning of this value 3, right? So if you got the down operation, for example process P0 is performing the down operation. When it is performing down operation, it will perform s dot value equal to s dot value minus 1, like line number 1, line number 2, and I can say it as line number 3. This will be line number 1, line number 2 and line number 3, right? When on down operation it is performing the line number 1, it decrements its value by 1 and it will go for critical section based on certain conditions. What is that? Second statement. Is s dot value less than 0? No. S dot value does 2 is less than 0? Fail. So it will enter into the critical section. So process P0 entered into critical section. Now for example, it is not coming out, it is not interested to come out, and P0 is interested to go for into the critical section. Now P0 got the chance, then it will perform the first line, s dot value equal s dot value minus 1, means it will decrement its value and check for it. Is 1 less than 0? Yes. It is failed. When it is failed, means it will simply perform the return operation, which means it can enter the critical section. Hope you understood now, right? Which means that more than one process might enter into the critical section when you go with the counting semaphore. Now suppose for example P2 got the chance. Now s dot value equal s dot value minus 1 means 1 minus 1 is 0, means s dot value is 0. Does 0 is less than 0? No. Condition failed, which means line number 3 is executed, which means process P2 entered into the critical section. Now if I got a chance for it to execute P3, s dot value equal s dot value minus 1, which means minus 1. When it is minus 1, does minus 1 less than 0? Condition is true, which means it will execute this block of code. What is that block of code? I am going to maintain one blocked queue. So the blocked queue name is L blocked queue. Guys, what is the purpose of this queue? The purpose of this queue is it is going to maintain various set of processes which are blocked. All of them are going to maintain the queue. Why can't they are using stack, something like that? If they are going to use the queue, then we can able to avoid the problem of starvation. That's the reason they gone for queues. Now guys, when it is minus 1, as minus 1 is less than 0, it will enter into the blocking queue and it will go for sleeping, means P3 is entered into the blocking queue. Now guys, just analyze this one once again. What is the meaning of value as 3? Means which can define how many number of processes can able to enter into critical section. How many processes can able to enter into critical section? 3 processes at the same time. Even if you are trying to add one more process, it couldn't possible to enter into the critical section, or at any point of time if you are able to observe, what is the meaning of -1? -1 means how many processes can be in the blocked state. If you look into the blocking queue, how many processes are there in here? One process. So -1 means one process is in blocked state. That is the meaning of it. Suppose for example guys, there is one more process ready to enter into critical section, that is P4. Now what will happen? S dot value equal S dot value -1, which means -1 be replaced with -2. Does -2 less than 0? Yes. Then that also will be entered into the critical section. Not critical section, it will be entered to the blocked queue, and it won't be entered to the critical section. Now what is the meaning of this -2? Which means how many number of processes are there in the blocked queue? 2 processes are there in the blocked queue. Right? So that is the meaning of this one, which means when you are going to observe the value as positive value, which means how many wake up calls made. If you observe the negative number, how many processes are in sleeping state. That is what we can understood. Okay, fine. Now if you move further, again P4 also blocked, and its value will be -3, and it will be entered into the blocking state. Now suppose for example P0 came outside. P0 wants to come outside. Then what will happen? It will execute up operation. When it executes up operation, S dot value equal S dot value +1, which means again it will be -2. Does -2 is less than or equal to 0? Yes. When it is yes, it will execute this block of code, means which is going to select one process from the L, that is, let me take the P3, and it will perform its wake up operation. Means at this point of time, how many processes are there in the critical section? 3. That is what the meaning of how many processes are able to enter into the critical section. Now if let's say P1 also wants to come out, then S dot value equal S dot value +1, which means again -1. Does -1 is less than 0? Yes. Then it will select one of the process, and it will enter into the critical section. Next, if it wants to perform once again 0, then it is going to select that 0 less than or equal to 0. Yes, it will select one of the process. P2 is already exited, and P5 is selected X. Right? Now what is the meaning of this one? Right? The number of blocked processors are there in the queue will be 0. Right? So this way your counting semaphore is going to be executed, and it is going to perform its operation like that. Right? So here technically, when I am going to perform entering into critical section, I will perform down operation, and when I am trying to perform outside towards from the critical section, I will perform up operation. Technically they can be called it as decrement operation. Down is also called as decrement operation. Up is also called as increment operation, and sometimes they can call it as a decrement as P and up as V. V means what, guys? Generally victory. Victory symbol is small, incrementing, something like that you can remember. And they can also call it as wait, or and up they can be called as signal. You have to remember these names technically, and some situations where they won't give the general meaning of this, and in some cases they will give the meaning also. But anyhow, so you have to make it remember, so that you won't avoid any kind of loss of marks for you. Right? Yes. Hope you understood this video clearly. Thank you.